Hello, good people of the internet. It's new content from our content, and let's discuss how certain ideologies influence the generational differences, shall we? I've stumbled upon the quite recent annual Deloitte Global Gen Z and Millenials survey, and it has revealed a very consistent theme. Young staffers want their employees' values to be aligned with their own. It means that for young people, it's no longer just doing your job, it's about ideology as well. Elizabeth Faber, Deloitte's Global Chief People and Purpose Officer, said, and I quote here, "More than a third have turned down employers that they feel aren't doing enough on matters such as the environment, DEI, which is diversity, equity and inclusion, or mental health." End quote. According to the New York Post, the April 2023 data from LinkedIn of more than 7,000 global workers showed 64% of Gen Zs in the UK, France, Germany and Ireland now consider it important to work for companies that are aligned with their own values. So, in a surprising turn of events, the generations that once were accused of being entitled and lazy, right now they are proving that they have evolved into something, in my opinion, even more puzzling. The virtue-seeking generation. I mean, they are living sometimes jaws-dropping as they turn down high-paying jobs for what they claim are, I might call it, woke reasons. They are choosing principles over paychecks, and I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing, alright? Later in this video, however, I will give you two examples of situations where social sensitivities were treated way too seriously, and those situations resulted in unnecessary drama and personal misfortune. I experienced those firsthand, and they proved to me that every idea can yield negative results when the envelope is pushed too far. Personally, I'm Gen X. And I still remember when people around me used to preach about the importance of financial stability and climbing the corporate ladder. Those were main priorities. Well, apparently that is so 20th century. Gen Z and Millennials, they have embarked on a new quest, and it's not about accumulating wealth or saving for retirement. It's about saving the world, one high-minded decision at a time. This got me thinking, are really gone the days when a six-figure salary could buy your loyalty? If, in the current global situation, new employees are more interested in a company's commitment to diversity, equity and inclusion than the size of the signing bonus, that speaks volumes about the younger generations. By the end of the day, if you get hungry, you cannot put sandwiches with diversity, woke and inclusion on the table. So if young people don't even consider that, what does it mean? Does it mean that we live in the age of prosperity? Let me be a little bit skeptical about this. The Times of Maine survey found that nearly 4 in 5 said it's important for them to buy products that are organic, natural and environmentally conscious, and 82% make an effort to only buy products that use naturally sourced or naturally derived ingredients. But there's more. Those surveyed said they willingly boycott brands that mistreat or underpay workers, 61%, use or mistreat animals for production and testing, 59%, are considered corrupt, 58%, or that are associated with ageism, non-inclusive, 51%. I don't have any problem with most of these except the last one, because of fluidity of rules. What is inclusive? What is ageist? What is bigoted and what isn't? What is still allowed and what is too much? Boundaries are blurry. Which brings me to two aforementioned situations I witnessed firsthand in one of my previous jobs a couple years ago. Once a month we used to have those pizza days, where company ordered pizza for every worker in the office. This was before COVID, so everyone was at the office, and those were quite popular days. Not surprising, free food. During the lunch break, one of my female colleagues made a joke towards another female colleague and said that she should not eat another slice of pizza because she weighs enough already. The second lady, being really heavily into all this cosmopolitan body positivity ideology, really felt offended by it. She escalated the matter into HR, and long story short, it ended with a long investigation, many meetings, sensitivity training, and a serious demotion for that first person. Was that joke dumb and completely unnecessary? Of course it was, but the reaction was also greatly overblown. A little bit of remorse and apology would do in my opinion. However, because we live in the age of sensitivity, everything was escalated to executive level. The second situation is quite similar. Someone made a joke in a company's chat. The joke, however, wasn't aimed at anybody, it was self-depreciating. But one person felt so offended that they made a snippet of it and escalated everything to HR again, claiming that despite the joke being self-depreciating, it had such racial undertones that it was very offensive, even without touching anyone on a personal level. Unfortunately, HR agreed with that argument, and one of my colleagues, a very nice guy, was fired because of a joke that wasn't even about anybody specific. I quit that job not long after, because after these situations, and those weren't the only situations like this, everyone started walking on eggshells. Everyone was scared to say anything, and believe me, working in the atmosphere of fear really decreases productivity of the company. Moral of this is simple. If you are too hell-bent on ideology instead of doing your job, if you think too much about social justice, ethical principles and woke values instead of just doing what you were hired to do, you may create really toxic environment, even if you keep thinking of yourself as a hero of the youth generation. Instead of helping, what young people often do is promote virtue signaling and cancel culture. Am I against all these ideas? No, I'm not, but there is such a thing as moderation. And so far, for now, Gen Zs and Millennials seem to be more and more determined to prove that principles for them are worth more than paychecks. Beautiful, that's great, but very often this is trading financial security for the empty promise of social justice. Is it really that important to feel all the time that you have moral high ground when in reality people will simply find you impossible to work with? I think that sooner or later, the realities of bills, student loans, the cost of food, the cost of living will force every young crusader to reevaluate their priorities. But hell, if your biggest problem is if the food you are buying is organic or not, then, well, here's to you. I hope you'll never fall on hard times. Till next time, cheers! Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, drop a like and press the notification bell so you won't miss anything I upload. And if you didn't enjoy this, hell, subscribe anyway. At least you will know when there is a new video to actively hate.